guys, this is how to do a burn wound. So first we're going to start out with my cream color wheel. Okay, so we're going to get some of the red. Make sure you use a stipple sponge because it'll create a lot of texture. You can't get really with your fingers or a brush. So just stipple, 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 and then do the most red where you want the wound to be deep or to be the most burnt. So right now I'm just covering the back of my hand. Nothing special. And just keep going with it, and you can really see how the sponge makes those little textures and little circles. It's really going to help you out in the realistic realm of how this is going to end up looking. Okay, now I just took a little bit of dark brown and started stippling over, making sure that where I want it to be the darkest, I'm layering up. Okay, so that's going to be the darkest part of our wound. Now, geez, my pinky was twitching a lot. Now I'm going to get a little bit of yellow because it's going to create that melted flesh tone. And then just kind of work it into what you already have. Don't use too much though. See, I went over it with the red again, just to make sure that the yellow is more of an undertone. Okay, next step. One sec. All right, perfect. So now we have our underneath. So now we're going to use my Mehron 3D gel. I have it in a cup of hot water, which you should microwave for about 2 minutes. It just helps soften the gel so that you can put it on your skin. But be careful, as you can see, I'm kind of struggling and it's really hot. So make sure you have a towel to help you get it off without burning your hands. Ta-da! And it's not as easy to squirt out. You can put it on a tray or like the top of a makeup, but I just keep it in the cup to keep it warm. Okay, so now that we have it all warmed up, just dip the end of an inexpensive makeup brush in there. And you can also use popsicle sticks. Those work really well too. Just spread out things, make sure it's nice and even. But for now, let's just do this. So I just kind of roll it off the brush onto the area I want to look burned. Now, make sure you kind of work quickly because it does dry quite fast. And make sure when you do it, you work in the same area. You don't just jump from side to side. So I kind of spread it at the top and then just worked my way to where I was. Now, if you kind of stipple it with the end of your brush and pull up some of the gelatin, you can see already that it's looking more graphic and more bubbly, like a wound or a burn. So just keep doing that. And really, you can add more and more if you want to build up more material as it dries, but just make sure it's dry first. So stipple, 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 pull up some material, smooth it out a little bit. Just keep going. Just keep going, just keep going. So yeah, definitely pick up some popsicle sticks or something along the way. If you really want it to look smooth, depending on what you're doing. And just make sure that you cover all the area that you painted so you don't just have random paint around the edge. That would look kind of silly. So, like I said, you can stipple as much or as little as you want, but really I like to do quite a bit just to make sure it looks more natural and more bubbly. Make sure you get the edges too. Okay, that didn't take very long. Okay, next step. So you see how it's glossy? Alright, so I'm going to take a little bit of red and really just deepen some of the areas. I just really pat it on, nothing too serious. Don't need to smudge back and forth, just kind of pat it on. Now, like I said, use an inexpensive brush really for all this, but especially this because some of the gel might come up on the brush. Just going to stipple a bit more on to make it a little dark. But like I said, it might be easier once it's dry because it can come off. Okay, so now I'm going to use a yellow or the melted flag. Really not a green, but there wasn't really a yellow visible. Okay, so I just loaded it up on a foundation brush and I'm just going to sprinkle it over. And it'll kind of help your makeup set, but it also takes the excessive shine off. But it definitely adds a fatty effect because when your fat melts in your body, it becomes kind of a liquid yellow. I'm just patting it because it got a little too much. And you can see it kind of tore the gel. So I'm going to take an angle brush, or really any small brush. I just had an angle brush at the time. I'm going to put in a little black just to make it look very deep and dark, very gory. I'm going to take a little bit of dark brown to layer it over. And just make sure you get in the little crevices kind of underneath it so you don't just have plain skin showing through. I'm going to add a little bit of red because then it will look more bloody, more realistic, more like the muscle tissues underneath. Alright, so now I'm going to use my favorite Graftobian blood paste. It's really great for anything gory. And I'm just going to take this small, little, tiny, inexpensive brush, like I said before, and I'm just going to dip it in. And it's pretty liquidy, but there are some chunks of goo in there. So you're just going to want to pat it in the area that you've made the gash or hole in your skin. And I twist it. I twist the brush to make sure I get some of that goo blood in there so it looks more realistic. It looks more deep and more bloody, which is always better. Tap, tap, tap. Just make sure it looks good. Okay, now I'm going to take another angle brush. It'll wipe off as I go along. Now I'm going to take a charcoal black rather than like a shimmery black, because I'm fairly certain your skin does not turn shimmery black when it burns. So I'm just going to take a little bit and I'm going to put it on the edge of that hole that I made in my hand. Alright, so I added some more around the edges, as you can see. Really a fan brush would be great for this too, just so you get a very random, very natural looking burn tissue effect. And so this is your perfect look. Here you go, nice and shiny, ready to go. And definitely you can always add more blood and stipple and more color, and I eventually add a little more black just to make the burns look a little bit deeper and a little bit more charred. And this would definitely be perfect for a Freddy Krueger look. Obviously you would have to do quite a bit of your body, but it would definitely be great for the Robert Englund movie, Nightmare on Elm Street, or any other burn that you're going to do this Halloween. Alright guys, like and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. Peace.